of Incredible Critics.
I say updating, but oh yeah, there is a new song with a reprise. That's a Jasmine song.
What a new song!
Yeah, it's a girl
Tell
power
Brittany
song.
she was more than welcome to be invited on the show to talk instead of just talking in the background.
That's the thing. I did invite Brittany on the show.
She just likes being in the background talking.
She just likes to she likes to be an active audience participant, I guess. She likes to only hear half of the conversation. So.
We are the Incredible Critics. Incredible, not because we're great, but because our credibility should seriously be in question. I am Ben Franco. This week, we are talking about what we've been watching, and then a little film about a big monster, Godzilla. Joining me, as always, Tuna, Andrew, Dr. Thunder, more.
I don't think you can say as always because I haven't been on in 2 weeks.
Well, somebody is joining me.
That's fair.
As always. And Martin, first-time caller, long-time listener, Garrett.
Hi, Ben.
You got your own nickname.
Did I get my own nickname? Please don't. I hope that's not my nickname from now on.
That's it. That's the one.
Honestly, I'm just happy that your people and my people finally got together. Worked out this amazing deal. That's great for both of us. I'm just excited to put on this fight.
I will publicly apologize to Martin. He was like, "Hey, if you're ever down to 2 people, let me know. I'm usually around." And I kept forgetting.
It's been how many weeks of just 2 people now?
Probably 7 or 8. Teen. Anyway. Guys, how's your week been going? Tuna, anything interesting happening?
Well, not much outside of work.
Okay. Now, Martin, you are coming to us from the past because you're an hour behind us.
I am, yes.
Because you live in Texas.
I do. I hard quit Valley Forge and just moved to Texas for a job instead, and still here 7 years later. It's worked out all right.
What part of Texas are you in?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Ask Tuna. He knows. He's been here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
The only person from my life back east that has bothered to come down to Texas, including that of my family.
Oh, ouch.
So, with the exception of my late father. So, I should say the only living person. So,
we'll dedicate this episode to him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. So,
I want to dedicate the episode to Callie because maybe then she'll listen. Probably not.
No, she's way too cool for any of us, to be honest.
That's true.
I'm kind of honestly impressed that you actually remembered my sister's name. So,
well, she worked for me, dude.
That's right.
Yeah.
I also worked for you. Not that I was ever, the greatest employee, but yeah.
But you weren't the worst. So
I don't believe I was the worst. I don't know. You had some pretty good people that worked with me. I don't know about the years after me. So
yeah, let's be real. If Callie didn't work for me, I probably wouldn't remember her name.
You only remember my name because I just hung out in your office all the time.
That's true.
Hey Ben, what are you doing today?
Hey, what's going on? That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Why aren't you gonna ask me how my week was, Ben?
Because I don't care.
Oh. Oof.
Now, how was your week, Martin? Tell us about Texas. How's the great state of Texas?
I wasn't in the great state of Texas this past week, actually.
Oh, where were you?
I was up in Massachusetts. I'm hot off the heels.
And you flew over us and you didn't say hi?
My brother's wedding is slightly more important than coming to see you guys. Sorry.
But only slightly.
Yeah, only slightly.
Well, that's fun.
He edged you out just a little bit.
Congratulations, Michael.
Yeah. My baby brother got married. So
the youngest got married first.
Yep.
That's okay. That's how
22 years old.
That's how my wife's family was. She's the youngest and she got married first.
Yeah.
My little brother's engaged now too.
Ouch, man. You guys got
makes you feel like you're really doing something with your life when your younger siblings beat you out to really important life milestones.
Yo, get on that Christian mingle.
My 16-year-old sister now is in a relationship.
Wait. You said your sister is 16 now?
Joy. Yeah, she's 16.
Oh God.
Yep, we're old, guys. We're old.
I mean, you're old, Ben. I'll give you that, but I refuse to believe that I'm old.
Well,
so.
All right, believe what you want.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and kick into it and talk about what we've been watching in What's On. Martin, I'll let you go first since you're the guest. What have you been watching or listening to or whatever?
Honestly, like I said, this past week I was up in Massachusetts, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to watch stuff.
I mean, you got like a 4-hour plane ride there and back.
Yeah, like I'm going to watch anything on the plane. That said, I did silently watch an episode of Doctor Who. Don't remember what happened. But while I was in Massachusetts, we did find time, my brother, my cousin, my brother's best man, and I, to watch a season and a half of the English dub of My Hero Academia. So
nice.
That's a nice, underground anime you may not have heard of. And for anybody that actually watches anime, everybody knows about.
I will have you know. Look, when it comes to media in other languages, I am the one. So yes, indeed, I have heard of My Hero Academia.
Yeah. You would actually probably enjoy it, Ben.
I probably would.
It's
as soon as I get that Crunchyroll account.
If you can get past some of the cringiness in the first couple episodes and realize that that's just who that character is.
Some of the minor.
It's actually a really good show, and I recommend subtitled over English dub always. But it does have somebody as great as Christopher Sabat, however you pronounce his last name. He does a lot of anime dubs. He's most popular probably for being Piccolo and Vegeta in the voice of Piccolo and Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, but he's a bright spot in the English dub. But overall, I still much prefer that the Japanese voice acting.
Was this your first time watching My Hero Academia?
No, I'm caught up on it. This was my cousin's first time, and that's why I had to make that qualifier about the little bit of cringiness at the beginning. So sure. It's extra cringy when it's in the language you understand, rather than just reading the subtitles, because there's feeling and stuff behind it that you understand that nuance when it's your native tongue, as opposed to just reading the subtitle and maybe missing some of the cringy nuance. So,
gotcha. Yeah, I've never had a chance to actually watch My Hero Academia, but yes, I know it exists, which is more than most people in America could probably say. I don't know.
Highly recommend it, but you don't need a Crunchyroll subscription to watch it. So
you don't?
Just throwing that out there. No, I believe the first 2 seasons are available for free. Also, it is on Hulu, and I would have to double check. I can double check right now, but
I got Hulu.
Partly on Netflix as well.
Huh. So, all right. Well,
yep.
Maybe I will have to check it out then.
No excuse, Ben. No excuse.
All right.
Tuna can watch Golden Girls. He can watch My Hero Academia.
If I can what now?
I said if you can watch Golden Girls, he can watch My Hero Academia.
That's a true life lesson. Tuna, what have you been watching?
I saw a couple movies recently, one of which we're going to be talking about later, but the other which was John Wick 3, which Martin also saw.
Yeah.
But we're not going to review it because it's already a week late. Like, it's already old.
True.
And whose fault is that? I mean, if only you knew a guy who happened to watch it the week it came out and was also available that Monday to review.
Hey, I wasn't on last week, so, it's their fault.
Very much enjoyed it. It was pretty gratuitous, as the series is known for. Yeah, I thought it was a great entry into the series. In addition to that, I also finished a podcast called Limetown, and it's an audio drama, like sci-fi horror-ish. And, but the real mystery is, why did you actually let Frankie join the call?
Well, it's not like I could stop him.
Listeners, Frankie is here.
The show is safe.
What's up, Frankie?
The show is safe.
Martin.
I can go now.
Oh no, Martin, nice. please stay. We're actually interviewing you for our third person. position. It's
One,
gonna be
two,
vacant.
3,
It's gonna be
4.
vacant
Okay.
soon. Yeah.
You
I'm sorry.
realize-
Go ahead about the podcast that was about murder mysteries.
What he's
or
not
something
saying
like
is that it's going to be vacant because he's having a baby and needs to go on paternity leave.
that. We don't get paternity leave. Dr. Pepper doesn't pay that kind of money.
If having a baby around was a deterrent for a podcast, why did Incredible Critics ever start with Frankie on board?
Oh, Tuna's getting better at the insults.
He is.
I get kind of proud.
Slowly.
We've been telling him to take notes, and clearly he has.
Mhm.
He'll get there one day. I mean,
You know what's funny, Andrew, is that there is a murder mystery episode of the Golden Girls that if you would have stuck through with that, you would have gotten to it. You probably would have liked. They go to like a.
Did you see what that picture that my friend sent me, Frankie?
Okay, a lot of things to unpackage with that. One, you have friends? Question mark. Two,
that makes for really great audio.
Do I want to know what kind of picture your friends is sending you?
No, it was.
3, did you pay for your friends?
She took
4,
a picture of these socks at Walmart, and she says these socks were in the men's section. You want them, and it's Golden Girl socks.
Oh, amazing socks.
you got them right. Like,
No, I did not get them, and she did not get them for me.
If you would wear them, I bet you Frankie would buy them for you.
100%. No questions asked.
I mean, that worked when I said I'd watch Golden Girls, and he
There you
then
go.
used Hulu.
And I haven't deleted it yet because.
And I
I'm
do
just
need
too
some new
lazy.
socks.
Oh,
All right, so
boring.
John Wick 3.
It was good.
You liked it, but how does it compare to the first two?
In some ways, I liked it just as much. In some ways, it's better because it really opens up the world, explores the kind of criminal underworld / like the assassin type atmosphere. Yeah. And you learn a little bit about his past. So that part of it is really neat, the world building. But some of the action is just as good, but it feels a little bit repetitive. Some of it does. Some of it's really innovative. Some of the fights are really take it up to the next level. But others kind of feel like, all right, I saw all of this already in the first and second one. No, but that's just my opinion. I don't know about if you felt the same way, Martin.
Ooh. I don't know. I kind of got to disagree. Like, yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff, but like, I definitely think that John Wick has been a progression of every movie. I think has stepped it up and gotten better. I did not think that John Wick 2 would be as good as John Wick 1, and it was. And I thought similarly, there's no way they can outdo John Wick 2 with John Wick 3. And I firmly believe that they did. Most of the action scenes, I thought, yeah, it's repetitive in that you really have no fear about it, whether or not, John Wick is going to survive this fight, right? Because it's John Wick, and that's how they've set up the movies. It's similar in that manner to Frankie's favorite, Jason Bourne. But
I was on the edge of my seat in every Jason Bourne movie. You never know when they were going to off them.
Yeah, okay. We definitely watch those movies very differently. That being said, I thought that the things that they did this movie, especially how they opened up the first fight in this movie,
Absolutely.
it set the pace for how this movie was going to go and just how fast paced the movie was going to be. And I thought it was
the pacing.
I won't say perfect because it wasn't perfect, but
Can I have a counterpoint? Or are you still going? I'm sorry. I should have
no, go ahead.
So, counterpoint. The first John Wick is the best John Wick because it is an original story that you can tell the first movie was made with no intentions of making a second or third movie because the story is essentially he works for the Russian mafia as a hitman, was the greatest hitman the Russian mafia ever saw, wanted to get out of it because he fell in love, and then they gave him an impossible task. He did it, and they were like, oh my God, he's the boogeyman. We'll let him go because that's what we promised him to do. And then he got back into it and kills all the Russian mafia.
I think it's implied that he's has worked for more than just the Russian mafia, even in the first movie.
How did this devolve into talking this in depth about John Wick?
This is true because
the movie is that good.
No, but hear me out. So yes, there's other hitmen in the world, and that's why they have the hotel. But the rest of the movie, like 2 and 3, go into like this magical background story that there's actually like a hand, and it's trained, and it takes place in like the Middle East, and there's like people, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it's kind of unbelievable in a huge amount. My favorite part of John Wick 3 though is that in the movie theater, the first like 15 minutes with every kill, everyone's like, "Ooh, ah, ooh!" Every time something weird happens, like someone dies, like, "Ooh, no, that hurt!" And like by 15 minutes, you're so used to it that everyone just
Desensitized.
stops. Yeah, everyone stops doing it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that definitely happened in my viewing. Like everybody was just like, "Ooh," and then just like by about halfway through the movie, didn't take quite 15 minutes for us, but by about halfway through the movie, you're so desensitized to just how epic everything is that it's just like,
Well, to be fair,
okay.
the first handful of deaths, mild spoiler, occur with like blunt weapons or handheld weapons instead of just guns, and the rest of the movie is more with firearms. So
Yeah.
there's kind of an added gruesomeness when you bring in melee weapons.
It definitely ramped back up, even with the firearms at the end of the movie, and at least in my viewing, with the shock and all, and people just being like, "Whoa!" and just like the things that were happening. I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's there's a scene where they go back for more guns, and then when they come back from that, it's just like,
I mean, do you know what doesn't have shock and awe? What I've been watching this week, which is Riverdale season 3.
Oh,
I heard it does have a lot of shock and awe, actually, and just as much unbelievableness.
It is unbelievable. That is one thing that I can confidently say about this show. So what I always said about the first season of Riverdale is that it's not good, but it's way better than it ever should have been.
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
it's worth watching because it's just like, how did they make this sort of kind of work? Like, that's amazing. Season 2, not so much. Season 3, not at all. It's so bad. Like, Frankie.
But you watched all of it.
Well, I may or may not have had a choice in the decision making of it. Season 2, I remember Chelsea and I were like 4 episodes in, and I was like, I guessed the big reveal from the season finale on like literally the 4th episode. I was like, yeah, you know that blah 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 is gonna happen, and she was like, you think? I was like, 100%. And then she finished the season, and she's like, yeah, that finally happened. And season 3 is just so like completely unbelievable and stupid.
Yeah, well, and that's what we've been watching.
I mean, I don't know. I think what kind of happened with Riverdale is like, it feels like there was about to be a gap in like, the high school teen drama, right, market in television, and the CW was straight like, well, we're doing comic books now, so how can we do this? And
but the first season kind of works.
On Archie.
The first season kind of works. I think the problem with Riverdale as a show is that the first season works because they established some type of like relative normal. Like, it's not so outlandish that I'm like, yeah, that could never happen. And then it progressively got like an interesting story, and it built, and it like normal became abnormal. But the problem was in season 2, they never reestablished normal. They just kept building on the craziness of the first season, and then season 3 kept building on the craziness of the 3rd season. And like now, like there's like 4 different gangs that are all like fighting in this gang war that's like the weakest gang war you could possibly imagine. It is just really like, it's almost worth watching because it's so dumb, but don't.
I was gonna say, you're almost making me want to watch it just to see how bad it is.
If you do, please text me as you're watching it.
It's very addicting.
I mean, like I said, like I watched season 1 pretty much right after it landed on Netflix.
Yeah,
and it was just like, it has the same problems that I hate about most like 80s cult classic movies that everybody like kind of unanimously loves, and that all the adults are portrayed as either evil or just straight up really, really dumb, and lots of questionable decisions are made, and the kids magically are the ones who have the answer. And maybe it's just because I'm 28 now and not 16, but I'm really, really annoyed by those plot lines.
Yeah, because like I said, we're old now. We're old now, and so now those plot lines annoy us.
Yeah, I always had problems with 80s cult classic movies, but for other reasons. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, why is this okay? Why is this okay to be like, your parents don't know what they're talking about? You definitely are your own person, and you know everything. Like, so.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and kick into our review of Godzilla, King of Monsters. The audio's not going to work, is it? Nope.
I got it. Rawr, rawr.
That's pretty much the ADR for, I don't know, 2 hours of film. Yeah.
I'll just add it in later.
Godzilla. That's
Zilla.
That's pretty much it. I got my dog excited about it, and I'm the only one who's excited about this movie.
Oh.
Did I straight miss that part in the film, Tuna? The Godzilla.
Yeah,
Well, I
I
think
think
they-
in the film.
Or
I
was
think
that?
it was just the credit. I think it was just the trailer. If they cut
No,
it, just
no,
the way-
it was in the film. like
It was
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
I just straight missed it then. So I'm
That's-
literally right out of a viewing of Godzilla. I came from Godzilla to be on this podcast. So
That is some dedication. You know what? I may have realized what I just did. Hang on. Nope. It's still not doing it.
Cool.
Yup. Nailed it.
God.
Hey, it worked for the intro.
There you go.
So
that's really all that matters, though.
So since you two are the only ones that's seen it, maybe you should talk about it, and then me and Ben will go. Yup, still sounds like garbage.
Spoilers or no spoilers?
Ben,
So,
and
you wanna start?
hang on, I'm just seeing if one last thing will work. Hang on.
to the rest of the viewing people who
we're
can't
gonna-
see what's going on
I'm
right
gonna
now,
edit this out.
we Ben and I have come to the agreement that there's a few movies that should just stop being made. Godzilla is it for me and Ben. Both we agree on it. It's just
We do
there's-
agree on this.
there's no reason for these movies to be made anymore. Let's just stop. They were great in like the 60s and 70s. Let's just be done with them. We don't need them
Well,
anymore.
so-
Nothing good's come of them. It's always going to be garbage. The storyline's garbage. It doesn't
Ben
make
like
sense.
the last one.
No, I thought the
No.
last one was okay.
Yeah, no.
It's
It's always a waste of money.
here's the problem with Godzilla, and then I'll kick it over to you guys to discuss it. Godzilla was created as a metaphor for the atomic bomb, of what it would look like watching a city get destroyed from really far away, and
Right.
just the magnitude of what the atomic bomb was. The problem with coming out with a Godzilla movie now is that we see movies that display that all the time. So there's nothing new or interesting about that idea. So they just keep having to make it like bigger and bigger and add like new and different things to it. And it just does not work for me. But that being said, Godzilla, King of Monsters, the IMDb synopsis: the cryptozoological agency Monarch faces off against a battery of god-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah.
almost
So-
nailed those names. Almost got those names. Right.
Almost got him.
What did I say?
So Frankie and I have not seen this film. Tuna and Martin have. Guys, what did you think of Godzilla, King of Monsters?
Well, in the latest edition of movies that have been going on for far too long and more or less have the same kind of concept, the last Fast and the Furious movie the last Godzilla movie was decent, not great in my opinion.
Insults are getting better. Jokes are still pretty
Nope.
bad.
Still gonna need to do some work on that one.
I think the big monster battles were fun, entertaining to watch. Outside of that, I would actually find myself agreeing with you and Frankie, Ben. It wasn't worth my time, in my opinion.
Martin, what were your thoughts? Literally fresh out of the theater, coming
I'm fresh out
straight
of the
into the
theater.
podcast.
So
What
I
are your
haven't had a whole lot of time to digest the movie, and I find myself doing this to where I sometimes think that a movie is better straight off the back of it than after I've had some time to think about it.
Oh, of course.
I don't expect that to be the case with Godzilla. I was very pleased with my movie purchase this time around, simply because I got exactly what I wanted out of that movie. More than half of the runtime is literally monsters fighting, which is what I wanted. I didn't care about the people. I didn't care about, a good story. I literally wanted to go see a CGI spectacle of two or more monsters.
And that's what I wanted.
fighting it
But
out.
I thought that there was not enough fighting of the monsters. It
I
felt
don't
like
see how you could think that
25%.
because
It felt to me like 25% of the movie was monsters fighting, and 75% of it was human drama and plot needing some kind of device to keep it moving.
See, I felt that way about Godzilla, the 2014 Godzilla. I do not feel that way about King of the Monsters.
But maybe the difference was that the
you say that.
2014 Godzilla was well acted.
I mean, so there is something to be said about the acting. I'm curious, like, just how much Millie Bobby Brown and Charles Dance's, like, how sore their backs are from carrying the weight of that whole movie.
True.
Because Charles Dance especially was a bright spot in the movie, and he was robbed of. He didn't have half as much screen time as he deserved. I love Charles Dance because Game of Thrones, and he's just amazing. Millie Bobby Brown, of course, 11 in Stranger Things. She doesn't really say much in that show. She mostly just has facial expressions where she makes her nose bleed. So, figure. But she was actually surprisingly good. I thought. In fact, the opening scene I made a note of. I was like, this actually felt like a natural reaction and a natural response from a kid the age that she is portraying would have in the situation at the very, very beginning of the movie and throughout. Like, I don't know. I thought that her character, I don't know if it was her acting or the writing, but like I thought that her character is one of the few characters in the movie that worked. So can't really say the same about like any of the parents in the movie or really anybody.
I could tell I haven't seen the movie, so maybe I'm a bad person to actually see this. But from the trailers, it didn't look like it was well acted.
No,
like purely based off of the trailers, I was like, yeah, this probably looks like a horrible.
Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley, he's pretty good in the movie. He's pretty convincing in his role, but a lot of the roles are pretty lackluster, and the acting isn't that great. So,
like the guy who says Scylla.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about him. So he's probably one of my least favorite characters.
Obnoxious.
So
yeah.
Tuna, are you constantly distracted by seeing Ice Cube's son? Like O'Shea Jackson Jr. Like every time I see him in a movie, I'm just like, oh, that's Ice Cube's son. I cannot take him seriously as a character, and I feel bad because
he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he's not bad. It's just that like, oh, this is like kind of Ice Cube, and like I'm not a fan of Ice Cube's acting either.
Ice Cube's acting is pretty phenomenal. I'm not sure if you've seen 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street or the Friday series, which is amazing. But
I can't give you Friday, but I'll give you the Jump Street movies.
His son is great, especially in the NWA movie. He was phenomenal.
Oh, he is phenomenal portraying his father in the NWA.
He's not saying that he's not good. He's just saying that he gets distracted.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And all this to say, Andrew has no idea who Ice Cube is.
I know who Ice Cube is.
No, not the thing in the freezer.
And it's like, what does my glass of water have to do with this movie? I'm confused.
Well, guys, should we kick it into some spoilers?
Sure.
Because I don't care if you spoil this movie for me, because let's be real, I'm not going to see it.
I know Frankie wants to see it, so I don't want to.
I have no desire to see this movie ever.
All right,
I am well aware.
Let's talk about some spoilers of Godzilla. Nope, all of the audio just decided to not work now. This is great. This is good. And I'm using Chrome, which is the thing that I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Are you on a Mac?
Yeah.
Yep, there's your problem.
No,
spoilers.
You're all on Macs?
Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm not on a Mac. Whoop, whoop.
No, it's an issue with the software that I use. Anyway.
So there you go. If anyone's listening, we're gonna do spoilers.
Well, I'll add it in after. Come on.
No one
For
cares.
the record,
I like my sound effects better.
Frankie, Ice Cube is one of my favorite characters in 22 and 21 Jump Street.
I'm very proud of you.
And yes, I've seen both of those movies.
I can't even quote my favorite part in 22 Jump Street because
this is a family podcast.
Yeah, this would be a good mid-angel then. So,
all right, guys, spoilers. All you want, because like I said, I'm just gonna be like playing games on my phone because I literally don't care about this movie. So,
Tuna, did you stick around for post credits?
I did. Do you think they're gonna bring out Mecha Ghidorah?
Yeah, 100%. So, I was gonna say so we already know. Unfortunately for you guys who are not excited for this movie, Ben and Frankie,
there's going to be a sequel.
We already know that Kong and Kong versus Godzilla is next year, I think, or is it next year or
I
2021?
think it's next year, 2020. I think.
And then at post-credit scene for this movie, they teased something beyond that. So it's not going to stop anytime soon. I disagree. I think that the movie overall is it's no more out of place than continually launching a Transformers movie or continually launching a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah,
or
I don't want them to do either of those things either.
So it's to me, it's just fun. And when I go to see a movie like that,
And
like
it's
that's what I'm in
not much
for.
of a branch off of the superhero movies either, like Marvel films. Like
I don't want that either.
Oh, you bite your tongue. You bite your tongue. It's
but
very
you don't
far off
complain about.
from the superhero movies.
I still
Keep
love
spoiling.
them.
Let me
all the
guess.
same.
Godzilla wins at the end. Okay, right? Oh yeah.
I'm not saying there's anything. The thing is, there's nothing wrong with that formula. It's not for everybody, which is why I don't watch Fast and the Furious ones. Because for me, I'm good. For you guys, you're good with the Godzilla stuff. I get it. And some people feel that way about obviously Transformers and all that jazz. I happen to agree, but this one, it's a guilty pleasure. One of the things I just couldn't get myself to like any of the human characters in the movie. Unlike the 2014 Godzilla, where like you said, Martin, it has less of the monsters battling, but the human drama, the human element felt more believable, was more compelling. I actually found myself caring about the human characters a little bit more, and they ended up being kind of the monsters ended up being like a catalyst for the drama there, and I thought that element of it was interesting, even though there was less fighting. So for this one, I was looking forward to more fighting and couldn't care less about the human drama, and I was still let down by the human.
I don't understand how you were let down, because there was so much fighting. Like it
didn't feel like that.
4 distinct good clashes of monsters. Like
I was expecting Pacific Rim amounts of battles, and
I thought this was better than either Pacific Rim movie.
Godzilla
on almost every front.
Godzilla only battles like twice in the movie. The first time he fights Ghidorah and like pretty much dies, and then they have to revive him with the nuke. Yes, it's as ridiculous as it sounds.
Are you forgetting about Antarctica? Like that's I mean. Literally the second fight. No. Antarctica is its own fight before that. They fight 3 times in the movie.
What did you guys think of the animation? Because I thought it was a really crappy animation.
The CGI is definitely different from from the 2014. The CGI style is different, but it doesn't look bad.
There are times in the movie where I found myself thinking like, wow, this looks really good, and other times in the movie where I found myself thinking, they kind of missed the mark on this one. It really depends on the scene. They really paid a lot of detail, a lot of attention to the close-ups. Like anytime you were looking at just a monster, like a single monster on screen when it wasn't fighting, there's one really good shot of Godzilla at the end, like when he shows up for the final battle finally, because he's taking his time getting there, as Godzilla does. And you get this really epic shot of Godzilla almost from the ground up, and he's just like towering, and you get this nice like tight, maybe even a mid shot of Godzilla, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. A lot of that has to do with kind of the same tricks that even back as far as like Jurassic Park they pulled, where if you set things in dark, rainy scenes, it's way easier to pass them off as real than if you like have your average like normal daylight scene. It's a lot harder to make things blend. So they were careful with their production design in that regard, and it made some of the scenes really, really work. But there were a couple scenes where I found myself like the CGI was just, they missed the mark in a couple sections. So.
I mean, it doesn't look as bad as Sonic, but
gotta go fast.
Anything else you guys wanted to
I'd go
talk
see
about
Sonic before I go see Godzilla.
Valentine's Day next year, get a chance.
Yeah, that's a toss-up for me. But
if you go see it Valentine's Day, you're guaranteed to never have another kid, Frankie.
Oof.
It's not good. You're going down. Just stop trying. You retire on time.
Yep. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I don't have much else to say. I love the movie. I think Tuna's wrong.
It was okay.
Rave reviews. Tuna was wrong. Tuna, it was okay. I mean, you guys will be happy to know, at the very least, I think you'll agree on this. In its opening weekend, John Wick 3 made $9 million more than Godzilla.
Much deserved.
And I think you're both okay with that.
Feels good for my movie wager.
You know what? We'll get into that in future weeks. It's still early on in that game, Tuna. Don't start talking trash yet.
How's Rocket Man doing? Really good, right? Everyone needs to go see Rocket Man. Greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. Go out. Don't just see it once. Don't just see it twice. 3 or 4 times. You don't really catch everything unless you've seen it on the 5th viewing. Everyone needs to go on the 5th viewing and see Rocket Man, and then talk about, oh my God, I missed all that other stuff the other 4 times.
Rocket Man is on my docket for this week, actually.
Rocket Man to number 6 for Frankie's summer movie wager.
Phenomenal. Get it out there. Go see it.
Well, unsurprisingly.
Okay. This is devolving into talking about that. We'll talk about that later. Frankie, where can people connect with us if they want to let us know their thoughts on Godzilla?
Guys, go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/incrediblecritics. Click the like button. You'll be able to communicate with our community and us, and it's a pretty awesome time. And we can also maybe pick you out to replace Tuna one day, like we did with Martin. And then go on twitter.com /3criticspod. That's right. And then instagram.com/incrediblecritics. Don't forget to go into iTunes, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, rate us, helps us get out to more and more people.
Yes, and until next week, we are the Incredible Critics.
Insert outro music here.
Yep. Yeah, I had such a good run. Yeah, so Frankie, at the beginning of the show, I shared my screen so that we had the video intro actually as part of the recorded video. So I thought
cool.
Could be cool. And then the audio stopped working from there on out. But it worked at the beginning, so I don't really get it. But
nice.
Should just use Discord instead.
I mean, so fun news on that front. My friend just got a job as a motion graphic designer for Discord. So he's moving out to San Francisco in the next couple of weeks.
That's actually really cool.
Good for him or her.
High school. Him. Yeah. So Martin, one of the things is that we have to stop doing is the people that listen so religiously to our show, we can't keep having them on because who else?
I understand one-time thing
is going to be there. No. I'm sure. I mean, Tuna was our VIP listener, but now he's on every week, and
oh my God,
I'm not sure there's
not the VIP listener spot.
I'm not sure there's that many more people that we can have be on every week. I don't know. Anyway,
we love you too, Joe.
I don't need to commit to something right now.
No,
I can't
dude.
commit to anyway. So. But like I said, I'm
it's just funny because I'm like,
if you find yourself in a pinch,
it's just funny because I'm like, man, the people that like religiously listen and comment on our posts the most end up being on.
Well, hey, listen, maybe down the road it will make more and more people want to comment on the post and listen. Oh my God, maybe. We'll get people on there. Listen, as long as we never have Joe Carrion on, we're good.
Should we tell him?
I was really looking forward to if Tim was going to be on to showing up with a blue arrow painted on my forehead in support of my fallen TV show, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Avatar: The Legend of Korra, and everything that Dragon Ball Super beat.
I fought valiantly for you.
Yeah, Tuna's the one who let me down, to be honest. So
Tuna had great picks in the bracket.
My close friends are actually trying to convince me to stop being friends with Tuna just over that Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I mean,
you and I have already talked about that, Martin, and I already told you I regretted it.
Yep.
Well, it's a little late now.
Apology not accepted. So it doesn't matter because it would not have beaten Parks and Rec even on my own bracket.
It's funny your guys' conversations about your regrets and mine and Ben's conversation about our regrets are completely different.